Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me here. Today I want to talk about two fragrances that I have added to my collection. They both arrived within a week of each other. I wanted to include these two fragrances in the same video, not only because they received in the same week, but there's actually quite a few parallels that I've drawn with these two, despite the fact they are both very different fragrances from a different house, from a different era, and despite their differences, they both found their way to me side by side. One offering an invigorating, refreshing scent, and the other offering a more reassuring, soft and comfortable scent. So let's talk about these two beautiful fragrances. Now obviously, as you can see, one is Luna from Penhaligons and the other is Bleue from Guerlain. So why are these two fragrances so special to me, and why have I decided that they're so somehow cosmically linked? Of course, that's just my opinion in my little world right now. So both of them were blind purchases and both of them were under £25. So there was no real risk here, and of course doing my research and being offered the amazing reviews that we have today from YouTubers, from people on Fragrantica, from all the information that we have, you can gain a fair idea really of certain perfumes. So starting with Luna from Penhaligons, I was very fortunate enough to receive a message from my dear friend over on Instagram, Jon Snow, who heard of a great deal being offered by Penhaligons. I've never ever had a Penhaligons before, and I've always wanted one. They're quintessentially British and I love the design of the bottles. And so this deal he heard about, they were offering 15ml bottles of Luna for the price of postage only. And the moment I heard about this, I was there like a shot. Offer from Penhaligons that I just could not miss. This was a £5 offer for a 15ml bottle of Luna. And I got my bottle last week. No idea what it smelled like, but I had read that it is a sort of citrus, refreshing kind of a scent. And I love the fact that they've still used the traditional bottle design, not, skimped on any kind of cheaper bottle here. They've still kept it authentically Penhaligons with this absolutely beautiful bottle, but just 15ml, and it's so adorable, it's so pretty. Now Bleue was something that has been on my radar for quite some time, and I've always wanted something beautifully vintage and violet from Guerlain, and there's a few offerings from Guerlain that has that sort of lovely vintage powdery violet and iris character, and Bleue was the one that I've heard was the oldest, and so incredibly traditional. I figured that Bleue would kind of reign supreme, and I just really fancied something that would be something from yesteryear. I know perhaps has grown up enough to actually appreciate something like this that's vintage and classic. I ordered this from Fragrance X and it took about 3 weeks, and it arrived yesterday. I think I got it for £23, and then postage was a little bit more. A more beautiful link between these two perfumes is their name and their concept. So the concept behind Penhaligons Luna is of course the moon, and the perfume scent itself is inspired by the moonshine. So the scent is effervescent and it's bright and sparkling like moonshine. Now Bleue, or in translating in English, is of course the blue hour, created by Jacques Guerlain, whose favourite moment was the hour just after dusk, and he describes it as the moment the night has not yet found its stars. Both these fragrances were inspired by the nighttime in two very unique and beautiful ways. Another significant detail that I was interested in that both of these share is that both these fragrances have come from respected and long-term fragrance houses. So I did a bit of reading up before doing this video. So Guerlain, of course, is a traditional French house, started in 1828. So one of the first ever perfume houses. It's got a rich history of creativity and artistry. And it was founded by Pierre-Francois Pascal Guerlain. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And of course, they have made perfumes for so many famous people and important figureheads from history, including Queen Victoria. Penhaligons was founded in 1870 by William Penhaligon, and he actually was originally he's Cornish, and he was a Cornish barber, and his salon was located in central London next to a Turkish bath. The aromas of the baths inspired William Penhaligon to digress into perfumery. The gorgeous bottles are still true to the original design. I think there's a few newer ones that came out that have got these sort of bust heads on them, like animal heads, but these, certainly for the most part, these are all still true to the original design. And every scent is inspired by the elegance of British heritage. Leading on to the visual aspects of things, the reason I have a blue ribbon in this video, obviously the Penhaligons design always has this beautiful bow sitting at the top. And Luna makes me think of like blue, the moon. So visually, I think of this ribbon as referring to Luna Penhaligons, but certainly in olfactory reference, I think of it as being Le Bleue. And this is because the texture of that velvet blue ribbon makes me think of the scent in Le Bleue. It's this powdery blue scent. So let's talk about how these fragrances smell. So starting with Le Bleue, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. So this beautiful vintage fragrance starts off with top notes of anise and bergamot, has heart notes of neroli, carnation, tuberose and rose, and base notes of iris, violet, vanilla, benzoin and tonka. This is actually the eau de toilette. And there is an eau de parfum, and there's also an extrait de parfum. Now the eau de toilette is obviously the original and first creation. The eau de parfum came out afterwards, and then the extrait came out sometime after that. The only notes I would focus on when I'm smelling the Le Bleue eau de toilette is powdery iris, powdery violet. There's some spiciness from the anise, and definitely a carnation spiciness in here as well. Slightly sharp, slightly sour quality. When I first tried this fragrance, I wasn't put off by anything that would smell old worldy. It is beautifully vintage. It's exactly as I would have expected it. Exactly as you would expect ladies in that era of 1912. And it's a fragrance that you can either love or hate. It's going to be a polarizing scent. I personally love it. I do. It's what I wanted. I appreciate this fragrance for what it is and for how long it's been sold for, and how much it's still well loved. And I'm very pleased to have it in my collection. So from one floral to the next, let's talk about Luna. Now obviously Le Bleue I talked about as being powdery, and that is on one very far end of the spectrum in terms of florals. We're going to go from powder all the way to a fizzy, sparkling floral. So for Luna we've got top notes of lemon, bergamot and bitter orange, heart notes of rose, jasmine, juniper berries, and base notes of balsam fir, musk and ambergris. So this fragrance opens up with such a beautiful burst of effervescent fizzy citruses. So all those beautiful fruits are the first thing that you smell, and it very quickly melds in with the florals in the heart, and I get a lot of the rose and the jasmine just really playing so lightly but sort of billowing in with those sort of fruits. It's impossible just to dislike this fragrance. It's something that you could just smell instantly and just feel completely invigorated by. As I say, it's effervescent, it's so fizzy. And there's also a green quality in here that keeps it incredibly fresh. It's the perfect summer day fragrance, and I love how it's got those florals that just keep it like an English country garden. On my skin, it's actually more of a fizzy floral than a fizzy citrus, which is why I think I like it so much. Something so perfectly enjoyable and easy to wear, and I'm so happy that Penhaligons chose Luna as their offer, because it's possibly become one of my new favourites to wear for summer. So I'm so happy that I got this. And that's it. That's my review of both Luna from Penhaligons and Le Bleue from Guerlain. Two beautiful fragrances from two classic houses. I hope you've enjoyed the video and you found the reviews useful. Do join me again on my next one, and I'll see you all then. Take care. Bye.